Damn, it's a rich thing.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Frank. This is Morals Over Money. Thank y'all for coming through. Those of y'all that are returning, thank you for coming back. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button. So I'm down here in Philly, me and Murph, and I just had a little incident that I said, you know what, this would be a good story and something to share on here, right? So I was recording, and a young brother, you know, probably 18, 19 years old, if that, he's like, yo, what you doing? So I tell him, you know, and instantly I knew what he thought. He thought that, you know, he was like, it's probably the cops. Because, listen, in the hood, you're always taught to stay away from cameras, right? Now it's a little different with social media and iPhones and all that shit. I know when I was growing up, if you seen people with a camera, they was the cops. That's instantly what I thought. That's why I really don't have no pictures of me as a youngin', you know, as a teenager, all that shit. I had very, very few pictures of myself for that reason, and especially in the inner city. So I understand that and get that. So the young boy, he asked me, so he said, yo, can you show me? So I showed him the video. He's like, look, you can see him walking past, right? He had on a white beater. So you can see him walking past. You can't see his face or anything. And he was like, yo, you got to delete that. You got to delete that. So in my head, naturally, I'm like, well, I don't have to do anything, you know. But I understand the situation, right? So I was like, okay, you know, I'm gonna crop you out of it, just so you're not in the picture. He's like, look, I'm on the run. I got warrants. I got tattoos. They're going to be able to see me, blah, 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 blah. I understand that 100%. And I would never, ever, if there's drug dealing going on in the videos or anything like that, I cut that shit out. If it's going on in the back room, because I never want to be the reason somebody ends up in prison. You know, point blank, plain and simple. So we sort of go back, you know, verbally back and forth for, you know, a minute or two. And I tell him, I say, yo, first of all, I'm not the cops, you know. And second of all, you gotta understand that I don't want you in my fucking video. You know what I mean? Like in my head, I'm thinking, like, nigga, I don't want you in there. You fucked up the video anyway. You walk across my subject. But I understand where he's coming from. And then me and Murph was talking about it. It was like, it's, you know, it's just a matter of where you have to be, I think, remember to be polite first and foremost. But at his age, if somebody was recording me, you know, I might have went a whole different way. The whole shit might have went differently, you know. And part of me was, I was looking at him, and I'm just like, you know, it's this 18-year-old kid. It got to the point where he's being a little disrespectful with his mouth, and I'm telling him like, yo, you know, it just sort of threw me off my square for a minute, because part of me wanted to be like, well, I'm not empty, I'm not cropping shit, you know. And even though the footage for real, I would have cropped him out anyway, because he was crossing in front of my subject. It just had to remind me also too, and for two things. One, little situations like that can lend, you know, how about if I would have got out of the car and told a young boy, well, I'm not stopping shit, and maybe I would have been somebody else and blew his head off, right? Or vice versa, right? What if I would have got out the car, punched him in his mouth, and he would have got embarrassed because he's in the corner in front of his homies, and, you know, and then be like, all right, now I gotta shoot. I gotta go kill him because he embarrassed me by punching me in the mouth in front of my homies. And now my homies are gonna be grinding me up and saying, yo, old head, remember that time old head got out the car and punched you in the face? You know, so it just reminded me to sort of play the tape all the way through with things. And, you know, no harm, no foul. And you know, and even when he was done, you know, it seemed like a little older guy came over, you know, and just explain, was like, look, we out here hustling, and and I have to just remind them, like, look, that's the least of what I want to put on camera. But people he don't know me, he doesn't know my integrity, and vice versa. I don't know him. So I guess moral of the story is just play the tape all the way through sometimes. Just remember that ego and pride and the feeling of how dare he, how dare she, got a lot of people in the graveyard and in the penitentiary. Because that could have easily been a situation of, okay, well, you're telling me, you're not asking me, so I'm not doing nothing, right? And it could have easily been a situation from him. Okay, well, I asked him, and now I'm done asking, Right, so pride and ego, more people in the penitentiary and in the graveyard than anything, I think.